We can take a little dive into KWB resources together. What I wanted to, I'm using this microphone, it looks silly. I'm using this in case somebody hops online, that way they can hear me better. My question for you, I guess, is would you prefer to sit back and watch? Would you prefer to follow along on your laptop? No wrong answers, it's just dependent on what you like. Perfect. Okay, so KWB Resources, you have a small introduction to this site already based off of your onboarding appointment with me. So we're just going to take a deeper dive together today and look at the website. And since again, right now it's just you and I, at any point, if you have questions, feel free to let me know. We'll slow down, we'll go back over information, whatever you need to do. There you go. I mean, and again, there's no wrong approach to it. It's purely like your preference based off your learning style. So you're going to go into whatever browser you prefer and you're going to search for kwbresources.com. You let me know when you're ready. You might have had it. Okay. All right. So kwbresources.com, the very first thing I actually will click on for you is going to be the new agents button, which is going to be right here at the bottom of that front door. If we click on new agents, it's going to take us to just some key information that's designed specifically to be there for you as a newer agent so that you've got a lot of helpful info in one convenient location. So on the left-hand side, if you were to click learn more under this little getting started section, it takes you to a handout that walks you through all of the onboarding process. Thankfully, you've already completed that process, so you're well ahead. So what we will do is we're actually just going to glance very briefly at the bottom items here. One of which, of course, is that we're going to explore the website together. We're going to also take a deeper dive into the office calendar as a result. Joining Ignite, which as you know already, we are starting that up in January. January 9th is when we officially launch that program. And we do that in person only. Monday through Friday from 9 to noon. So if you're able to participate in that specific program, it's always a great one because you're building relationships with other new agents and some top producers right here in the office. So it's a really great way to begin building your own kind of community here. Additionally, we will talk about some key Facebook groups I recommend participating in, as well as attending office meetings, which you're already well on your way. I've been seeing you killing it since you've gotten back from Florida. So thank you for that. On the right-hand side, because I just closed that little handout out, on the right-hand side under basic training, there is a learn more button. If we select that button there, it's going to take us to the Scott Leroy Marketing website. So the Scott Leroy team is who put your KW technology together initially when you first got started. They gave you the email, the website, the DocuSign access. But the great news about their team is that their help and their influence does not end there. They actually can still do a lot for you. I always like to point out, just because we land on this page, that there is that search bar there to the right. This will allow you, of course, to find a kind of pinpoint whatever you may be looking for on their website, especially if you're less familiar with exploring it. I know sometimes I struggle to find what I might be looking for, but that search bar is great. You actually could even search for something like QR code. I know QR codes have become very popular in a lot of print marketing, but if you've never had to make one yourself before and you realize you'd like to do that at any point, you actually can search QR code on the Scott Leroy website. And what they're going to do is they will actually create that QR code for you based off the information you provide, and they'll shoot it back to you usually within an hour. and that is completely free. So they do different concierge services for you guys for free. And that's something I always encourage you to explore and take advantage of because, especially when you're first getting started, you don't automatically have a ton of leverage built in. So a lot of times you guys are doing everything on your own. And wherever we can find those bits of leverage, especially ones at no cost, I always want you guys to be aware of it. So the Scott Leroy team can help with the QR codes. Additionally, what you'll see here, I'm going to close that. What you'll see here is there's a little login button on the top right. You select that button, it's going to let us type in our market center number, which is 350. You've probably seen that number several times, but 350 is our market center number for identifying Keller Williams Ballantyne. When we've typed in that information, you'll notice that at the top, now there's a bunch more tabs that we can click on because they've now recognized our partnership and that they know that we're supposed to have access to more information. So now that we've typed that in, you'll find that the bar up top has a lot more built into it. The first thing I try to show you guys is usually under agent resources. There is a training section. And if you actually slide over to the right, there is a training calendar attached there that you can click on. Once we've done that, it actually shows you their live training calendar, similar to how we do it here at Ballantyne. But they've actually offer a tech training live from 1 to 2 o'clock, Monday through Friday, every single week. Obviously, they'll have the exception of Christmas Day and they'll have the exception of Christmas Eve, but they do have tons of different opportunities for you guys to get the tech education you may be looking for. I specifically like to point this out because one, I know everybody's schedules are different. So obviously, if your schedule meant that Tuesdays or Thursday afternoons were going to be challenging to participate in what we offer here, then this might expand that a little bit further for you and give you opportunities that are a better fit for your schedule. The other reason I point this out is you'll notice as you start attending some of those tech trainings that we tend to rotate topics. We'll change them up every single week. Our Tech Tuesdays typically follow a 4-week curriculum, and then we'll recycle that every single month. And then our marketing masterminds, those topics can vary. Jules and Leah will handpick out what they would like to share with you guys, different things that might be going on or relevant for the time. But again, everybody might be looking to learn something at different times. So if you felt like, okay, I've got a listing coming up, I really want to figure out how I can make a Facebook ad because I think that's going to be really successful in sharing the listing with the public. So I got to figure out how I want to do that. And you kind of look at the calendar for our office here and you're like, oh, they're just not going to talk about that anytime soon. This is something that you can always cross-reference and see if there's another opportunity through the Scott Leroy team to get that training in a timely manner. So know that this is free for you to attend those trainings. All you have to do is click on the specific event, kind of like you do on ours. It'll tell you what that topic will be and then give you that Zoom link so you can click right on it and hop into that live webinar. Oh, good. Oh, awesome. That's great. Good. And actually, you're going to laugh. Jules and Leah, both of them started with Scott Leroy. So they have their background from being with this company. So there's a lot that the Scott Leroy team can help share with you too, depending on just what you might be looking for. If you are curious, if you do better with like a handout, I want to see like the overview of topics for the month. You have little printables down here below. Just make sure you're picking obviously Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to grab the wrong time slot. But that way you can, again, just kind of look and see, okay, great. This is going to be something that's super helpful for what I'm looking for and highlight it, add it to your calendar. The other thing I point out under agent resources is that you'll find that there's marketing support at the bottom of that tab. I personally, as a admin, not a licensed agent, I can't tell you everything that they have to offer you as an agent in our office. I do know that if you were to do a listing or take a listing or do an open house, they can do those flyers for you. As long as you give them like 24, 48 hours, they can get that stuff together and then send it back to you again for free, which I think is really important to make sure people are aware of because it's not utilized enough sometimes. So obviously, I think that they're opportunities and the extension of resource that they offer you extends well beyond just those couple options that I suggested. So my recommendation for anybody who goes through this class with me is my homework for you is to go on their website and take a deeper dive, figure out what other concierge services you have access to for free, because there's going to be tons that I think will surprise you. And I want you to take in all that you have offered to you. So when you have a chance, you're just going to go to the Scott Leroy website. and you're going to go down to agent resources, marketing support, and then explore those services. And I'll leave my mouse there just to make it easier for you. Other than that, the only other thing that I would typically mention while we're looking at the Scott Leroy website is that on the far right, you'll see there is a store tab. The store tab is where I actually always encourage our new agents to go in order to order their business cards. Hope you're okay. So we're Scott Leroy website. We went to agent resources. Yep. Then we went down to marketing support. Yep. And then you can choose amongst those to kind of explore those concierge services. So that's what I would just recommend look over. It doesn't have to be obviously while Christmas is going on next week, but you can do that in the next couple of weeks here and just again figure out what you can take advantage of because there's a lot more resources I think than people realize oftentimes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So if you go to store on the far right here and you just click on that, it'll take you to agentstore.com. It's one that I always recommend for our new agents because they actually offer a bunch of different things. It's not just business cards, but if you were to select the business card option, it'll then let you specify I'm with Keller Williams, and then you can find our specific market center. Because what'll happen is you'll actually be given access to about 32, I think it was last I checked, 32 different templates for your business cards that are out there with our information already on them. So all you have to do is then go in and change your phone number, change your email, kind of plug and play. So it makes it really efficient for those of us who are looking to order the business cards quickly. It's a good option. Obviously, you're not limited to this. You're welcome to create something very custom and unique to your business, but I always encourage to look here first, see if there's something that you think is a good enough design that you'd be happy to use, because not only do they make it very easy for you, but they also make it cost effective. Obviously, inflation is a little different nowadays, but 4 years ago when I first started here and I got my business cards, I was able to order them through the Scott Leroy agent store here. And when I did that, I only spent $39 and I got 500 cards. So very, very cost effective. The only other thing I would mention while we're looking at this, and again, you're welcome to explore. They've got name tags, they've got different packages, different merch that you can kind of get ready. But the only other thing that I would mention while we're looking at agentstore.com here is that while we're looking at this website, understanding that for you as a provisional broker, you will have to get Tasha Viney's approval of your business card design before you place your order. It's a requirement, and it's really just to look out for you guys because there's just more regulations that come with being a provisional broker. So we'd rather you guys get the go ahead from Tasha than run the risk of ordering something you find out you can't use or that you wasted money on. So always, whatever design, even if it's one of these pre-done templates, take a screenshot of the design before you place that order and then text it to Tasha, walk down to her office and show it to her, and she'll be able to give you the thumbs up. Or if anything needs to change, she'll be sure to let you know. So that's a good one. And then now we are going to pop back just to where we had been under the new agent tab of Keller Williams Valentine's website. If we scroll a little bit further down, you're going to find a list of some good Facebook pages to join. The top one here is going to be an internal Facebook page with just our agents and our leadership team. So we're always on there talking about the upcoming trainings and events. So that way you guys can stay informed of what's going on. The other cool thing is that our agents are obviously talking to each other. You guys are helping each other out with different things. I know sometimes you take your first listing and it's out in an area you're less familiar with, and your usual guy can't go out that far to do any services. Sometimes it's nice to be able to ask, hey, does anybody have a plumber that can service Lincolnton? And so people will actually screenshot contacts out of their phone to provide to you. You'll also find that a lot of times what will happen is if you are working with clients moving out of state, you don't have an agent that you'd like to refer them to, you can ask people for that as well. Does anyone know an agent out in Cherokee? I really want to make sure that I'm getting the best person. So a lot of times, again, we're very quick to collaborate in this office, and I think our Facebook is a great example of how quickly and clearly that will happen. So highly recommend joining that Facebook group there. It's also a great place where we can congratulate our agents, welcome new agents, and just celebrate victories together. Underneath, though, is a second Facebook page also managed by our office, but this one is going to be our agents, our leadership team, and our vendor partners. So at KW Ballantyne, we have a preferred vendor program. You guys, as agents, are welcome to use whoever you would like. But if you are looking for a vendor, because you don't yet know one that you have built relationship with and trust, we have a preferred vendor program that's built up of vetted agents or vetted agents, vetted vendors. All of those vendors have been used by other KW Ballantyne agents who then referred them to join our program. So you know it's already somebody that offers a great product or service that you can trust. So that's a great opportunity for you to get connected with some fantastic people spanning all industries without having to run the risk of like, oh gosh, I hope this guy's good. You'll know that these are quality vendors that you can trust with different services for your clients. So that vendor Facebook page will just allow you to get in communication with them very easily because they're part of that page. They're talking about upcoming deals, promotions they may be running. It makes it a lot easier for you guys to get in touch. And if you'd prefer, if you're not a Facebook user, I do have a little cheat sheet that I'll show you towards the end of where you can also find all of our vendor partners. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mhm. So I'll be honest, me personally, I would not be the best person to ask that question to just because I know there's value in having the professional page, but I could not tell you this is the why behind that. Ask that question to Jules and Leah, though. They can tell you all of the reasons why or why not to do that, and they can actually help you set that up too if you need it. Just because that's much more their wheelhouse, their strength is marketing and I know a bit about it, but they're going to be the pros that we want to talk to. I could tell you some information. It might not be right, but I could tell you something. Below though, there's two additional pages. The Charlotte Area Realtor Network is just real estate agents in this area, not specific to a certain brokerage. And then KW Carolinas region is going to be a Facebook page of all Keller Williams offices between North and South Carolina. So it can be a really great way for you to build some good rapport with other agents in different areas. Start building your referral network, people that you know and trust, maybe out at the beach, if you've got people that you think would be moving that way sometime soon. Also, with that, we offer our own training program right here within our office. And the Carolinas region then supplements and adds to that by offering additional trainings to all Keller Williams offices locally. So if you have interest, perhaps attending one of those larger trainings or masterminds or networking events, it's cool because they actually will go. I know they just did one out in Cherokee this fall. They've done stuff out in Wilmington, Myrtle Beach. So it would just be an easy way for you, in theory, to do some of that really great training and networking, but in a spot you haven't gotten to necessarily explore. Good opportunity to network, make new referral partners, and it's always a write off because it's for business. So just keep that in the back of your brain. If we continued scrolling on our new agent tab, we do see colorisms as the next part here. That is one I don't normally click on, but if you wanted to, it will take you to a handout that essentially just breaks down the terminology you hear within these walls. There are certain things that are unique to Keller Williams that you'll hear thrown around. And then there's certain terms that sometimes it's easy to kind of decipher what someone's saying and figure it out on your own. And then there's certain things where it's like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And I just don't want to be the only person in the room who doesn't. So colorisms will actually just take all of that and break it down in a much more meaningful way so that you have some real world terms to go with that vocab you're hearing in the office. So keep that in mind if you ever need it. Also know, of course, you can ask a staff member or another agent. We're happy to help. But if it's a odd hour or you feel shy, you have an out. Underneath, you also will find that there is access to answers.kw.com. Answers.kw.com is going to be a fantastic website. One I should have already introduced to you briefly when we met together, but answers.kw.com is going to have tons of helpful articles related to your KW technology. So as you're navigating Command, as you're navigating DocuSign, if you're struggling at all, or maybe you just don't know how to do the next step, especially in after-hour circumstances, it's important that you guys get the answers you need at a time that works for you. So keep that in mind because you can go to that website, you can search keywords, and those helpful articles will pop right up for you. There is also a sister website to that called ideas.kw.com. If you ever wanted to provide feedback after using Command and say, hey, I love this feature, I just wish it was available here, or I'm not really big on this, I think it's not as efficient as I would like for it to be. Whatever feedback you have, Labs is always unveiling new updates for Command, so you very well might see some of your ideas come to life. There's an access point to download your Ignite materials, but if you attend on January 9th, I will send them to you before you come in on January 12th for the first session. Then we also have access to our training calendar here. There's lots of different ways to get to the same information on our website, so I try to just point out the helpful ones versus the ones that involve a lot of memorization. So we're going to bypass this little part here, and we're going to find the calendar much more easily in a moment. And then the last thing is going to be how to book a conference room. So as you've noticed, we have several conference rooms, 5 different ones to be exact. And we've got 2 focus rooms actually just outside this door here. So our focus rooms are going to be single desk office spaces that you can rent out essentially, no cost, but just reserve them. And those are intended to be just an independent workplace for you to have some privacy, to do whatever you might need to do, to stay focused as it implies by the name. And then the conference rooms are going to be better for communal efforts, collaborative efforts where you can fit more than one person in there. So if you're planning on working with other agents at any point, if you're working with your coach, if you're meeting with buyers, conference rooms are going to be probably the most appropriate route to go. Again, they're available to reserve at no cost to you. We just ask that you guys limit your reservations to about 2 hours or less, and that keeps those resources on rotation for other agents in the office to use. If you're interested in booking a conference room, all you have to do is click that button where it says register. It'll let you make a quick login on this website called sketa.com. It's just a third-party site we use. But once you've made your account, when you open it up, you actually should see at the top of the page in the spreadsheet that kind of opens up, the top of the page will indicate what the conference room name is and the capacity that it holds. And then the left-hand side of the page is going to outline all the time slots during the day. So that way you know when you can drag and drop your reservation and what rooms are available. Mm-hmm. We have 5. Mm-hmm. You're okay. Yep. So it'll tell you the name at the top and it'll tell you the capacity that each of those rooms hold because we know that you guys probably don't know the names yet, and that's okay. We want you to know before you even see it that that's going to work well for your group. Also on that same site, you can book the media room. If you wanted to make those videos and things like that, you can book the media room. We just ask that before you go reserving the media room on that site that you have attended 2 media room training sessions. So you know how to use the equipment before you're reserving the room. Oh, good. Good. That's exactly who you're going to meet with for the media room training too. So he's a great resource to have. We're going to go back to the home page now. On the homepage, as we scroll down a little bit further, you are going to see an outline of our leadership team. You should have a handout that details basically the same information, but it's just going to remind you who we are on leadership, what our role is, and how you can reach us through email. And then a little bit lower, there's also a fun little section. This might seem a little bit random, but there are some pinned videos just because we find that they're very helpful, especially for our newer agents. The bottom of the 2 videos actually is going to be a 25-minute ultimate overview of Command and DocuSign and how the 2 correlate and interact with one another. So by watching that video, it will teach you how to plug in your NERDS ID number. So once you have your MLS access, you can plug in your NERDS ID to your DocuSign account, and it will allow your forms to populate, and it will help you to link it to Command. So keep that in mind. You're going to want your MLS access first, but that is going to be a fantastic video to watch before you meet with any clients, because otherwise you might get into DocuSign and go, oh my gosh, where are my forms? And that's the scariest feeling in the world. And it's usually an easy fix, but we don't want to put you through that. Above that, there's also a video on how to submit a commission request in KW Commands. That's going to be something that's appropriate whenever you go under contract with any particular clients. At that point, we do want to be aware as your market center that you have an upcoming closing, so we can prepare, make sure everything is ready to go for you so that when you have that check in hand, you can drop it off with us. As long as your files have been approved by Carla, and as long as you've submitted that commission request, we can issue your payment for the next business day. There's access to our office calendar here. If you remember, I think the best way to access this is by clicking the full calendar view above. It will just open this up in a much more legible way, and it makes it much easier for you to click on different events. get full descriptions associated with it, and then determine if that's a class that you'd like to participate in or not. Obviously, we are here for this one today. I know you've been really good about coming through a lot of the trainings recently, so hopefully it's easy for you to continue on that same path. And if you ever have questions on what you see on our calendar, just let me know, and I will be more than happy to give you additional guidance. Otherwise, the bottom left-hand corner, in case you'd like easier access here, just click Add to Google Calendar, and it will copy everything over for you. Oh, you're so good. No worries. Hmm. Yeah. It is almost always going to be this room. The only times really that you'll find yourself in a conference room is one, if we have overlapping events. And that means that I can't put two things at the same time in here or three. And then the only other time that you'll ever see that be true is usually for like T group or coaching meetings. Those are going to be held in conference rooms because it's a smaller group usually. But almost every training on that calendar will be right here. You can always double check with Sue, or you can double check with me if you want to make sure before you walk through the doors. But usually 9 times out of 10, you'll be right here. Um, a little bit lower, just highlighting some of the recurring meetings that you'll find on the calendar. Our ALC meeting will be one of them. It's offered the third Tuesday of every month at 11 o'clock. And then those are going to be where our Agent Leadership Council gets together. We're actually having a new approach for our Agent Leadership Council in 2026. But our Agent Leadership Council, basically, they are top producing agents within the office that have voluntarily given us a bit more of their time to represent different committees here to constantly make sure that Valentine is the best environment to thrive in and the best place to call home. In those ALC meetings, everyone gets together and they are having some higher level business masterminds. You are welcome to be in those rooms and observe those conversations. We just ask that if you are to be in the rooms, you are going to let them hold the floor while you're observing. The box next to that to the right is going to be team meetings. Those are offered on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month at 11. Those are high energy and actually usually packed out rooms if you've not gotten to attend one yet. They are lots and lots of fun, and we try to bring tons of value to you guys. So normally we're featuring different agent panels, or we are featuring special guests, somebody that makes it, in our opinion, so that your hour of time is worthwhile. We want to make sure that you guys are getting lots of value out of that. And then the latter half of the meeting, we're usually going to bring up different people from the office. We'll have Tasha give a BIC update. We'll have Jules and Leah come in and give some marketing specific updates or tech updates. I know that we will also be congratulating agents, celebrating birthdays, lots of fun. We want to make sure that you guys have a good snapshot of what's to come in the next few weeks at Valentine. At those same team meetings, we also invite our vendor partners to join us. So when you leave this meeting, they're actually going to be situated right out here in the hub area. So it's easy for you to go around and get to start building those relationships, finding out who those vendors are, what they do, and how they might be able to help you in the future. And then Tech Tuesdays, I know you said you've been able to start attending some of those. So Tech Tuesdays are just going to have a specific focus on Command and DocuSign. Jenna Kelly leads those. She's been an admin for one of the top producing teams in our office for years. So if there's anyone that knows how to use the tech at a high level, it's going to be Jenna. So she teaches those classes, and it is designed specifically for you guys as new agents to just figure out the best way to build your systems within those programs so that you have an efficient business on your own. Good. Yay, good. And you can go back through it again. There's also next Tuesday, again, obviously, if you've got plans, don't worry about being here. But next Tuesday, she'll be doing a Command and DocuSign Q&A walk-in class. So whatever questions you feel you have, you can bring them to her and she'll go through it with you. Below, we'll find Sabra and Tasha, our wonderful BIC and BIC associate. Sabra, as our actual BIC, unfortunately is not physically in the office very often. She actually stays home to care for her mother, who is 102. And since she is not in the office as often, but still available, of course, by phone and email, Tasha has a significant presence here in the office. And Sharon Martin actually will also be stepping up to help out with the BIC role here in the office as well, just to give you guys more people that you can reach out to and ask questions to, especially if you're passing through the office as is. But those more administrative questions don't necessarily mean like hair on fire legal matter in my transaction. Those can always always be brought to Tasha and Sharon. They tend to have a very, very good experience level and familiarity with a lot of things. They can usually walk you through what you need to know. If it's ever over their head, they'll refer you directly to Sabra. And you'll see there that Tasha has office hours posted, so you know when you could expect her in the office as well if you did want to stop by and maybe show her your business card or things like that. And I know we're nowhere near June, but if the time when the time comes that it's conversations about renewing your license, making sure you've got all the things set up in place, lots of helpful handouts right here on how to make sure that you are in good standing for that renewal period. Okay. Oh, Stephanie with MLS. Okay. Right. Or wait until January. Yeah, as long as that's still with there's a part of January that's still within your 30-day window, then you're welcome to wait a little bit longer and pay come January usually. It's just contingent on that 30 days. Mhm. 30 days from essentially, yes, because it is 30 days based off of when they received your information from me after you got on board. So it should be right around that timeline. And I always tell you guys, double check with Stephanie. Ask Stephanie, what is my final deadline? Because what they know to be the final deadline is what you need to go by. Because if I am misunderstanding anything, or if I think it should be one thing, but they're saying it's a different thing, their answer trumps mine. um, yeah, if she's suggesting that, I would think that's because it's a possibility for you within that 30-day window. And you can always double check with her though. Otherwise, our ALC is going to be listed below that. These are the current members serving on our ALC. We will have new members being introduced in 2026, so stay tuned to see who is going to be on our ALC. Underneath are productivity coaches. We do assign you guys to productivity coaches, as you know, when you first get started. That way, you have somebody else in your corner holding you accountable, helping support you, and teaching you how to procure the business that you're looking to establish. Your coach is going to have weekly meetings that you're participating in, and they're also going to be checking in with you one-on-one periodically just to see how you're pacing through, what questions you might have, and just how they can best support you. So if you've not yet been connected to a coach, Michelle usually reaches out to you guys over the phone, gets to know you better, gets to know your schedule better, and then she makes her best recommendation amongst the coaches for you based off of personality, learning style, and availability. If you ever feel that you are doing great, my coach is awesome, and we're just not seeing eye to eye, or oh, my schedule is now shifted. If you're ever feeling like a transfer of coaches might be best for you, just let Michelle know. We will absolutely arrange to make sure you're in an environment you can thrive in. We just need to know if that's true in the future. Oh, Dave's awesome. Dave is fantastic, and he's definitely one of the best you can learn from. Not to say that the others are not fantastic as well, but he's been in the industry for quite some time. He's done a lot with it. We also have T group partners. That is another one that I highly recommend participating in. I know you're already connected there, but again, they're going to focus specifically on your contracts and forms, so that way they can teach you guys how to complete those documents, so that when the time comes that you are sitting with your first set of clients, you feel a lot more relaxed and a lot more confident explaining them to your clients and getting those responses correct the first time. We will always have compliance at the end of the day to double check your work before you officially close the transaction and get paid. And your T group partner will be a good resource for specific questions, especially because, transactions don't always look alike. So if you have questions based off of one that weren't answered in the previous, you can always text your transaction partner and ask them if they've got 5 minutes to chat over the phone in the next day or so to go over that information. Below, you're just going to find helpful resources and links, all of which I feel are much easier to access from the top of the page. So I'm just going to take us back to the top. The next tab that I usually look at is FAQs. If you click on that one up top there, it is just going to take you to a little kind of directory in a way. Mm-mm. You're totally fine. It's going to take you to a little kind of directory. I don't know why that one's not showing. Um, where essentially it's just giving you an idea of questions we tend to get often as new agents are getting started. So if you are curious about any one of these topics, if you hover your mouse over, it will tell you who on our team is responsible for that particular task. And that way you know who you could reach out to for the best assistance. So just keep that in mind. I know not everything will be featured on this page. So if you have oddball questions, you're welcome to ask me, but this should at least give you a good starting point. Outside of that, I usually skip over the About tab. I go straight to On-Demand training. If you select On-Demand training, this is where you can go in. It's going to ask you for a password. You'll see over there where our Wi-Fi password's written on the board. If you type out that exact information but leave off that exclamation point, you'll be able to get into this website. You got it. And once you've typed that in, well, it's so helpful if I typed it in correctly. There we go. You'll access this link. So on the left-hand side, the on-demand button there, it will actually take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. So as life happens, we know it's okay to go to feel under the weather. We know it's okay to travel, have life circumstances. If there's ever training opportunities that you felt you missed because of any of those circumstances, then you can always come back to our KW Ballantyne YouTube channel and you can find a lot of good information right there on our page of recorded trainings. I always specify this is not every training that we offer. These are select trainings that get uploaded, usually ones that display that are recurring on the calendar that are displaying updated information regularly. That way, when you are looking at these videos, you know you're getting relevant information that's still true. And we do also organize these videos at the very bottom here by playlist. So if you're not quite sure if a certain training that you might be looking for is going to be posted here, you can always reference those playlists and that will tell you what gets put on this page. If you're looking for something specific at any point in time, but not seeing it here, please reach out to me. I will tell you if it's something I still have access to and can send to you, or if that's something that we just do not have a recording from. We always encourage in-person attendance or online live attendance as much as possible. It is not to inconvenience you because, again, life does happen. We stress that simply because I want you guys, as you are right now, to be able to ask questions in real time and get the clarity then versus walk out of there very confused and lost, or watch that video and you're like, I really hope I run into Rob tomorrow so I can ask him all these questions. We want to make sure that you guys are able to get that information when it matters. So as much as you can participate live, in person or online, we encourage that. And this is here as your backup if you need it. To the right is just an access to that Scott Leroy Marketing YouTube channel. If you click on demand, it'll take you to their YouTube channel. Again, their YouTube channel has over 1,000 videos specifically on Command and DocuSign and similar KW technology. So especially in those after hours circumstances, if you feel you need that additional support or guidance, there are tons of tutorials right there for you to reference. And then we'll come across some of those pin videos we already looked at on the front page, as well as some more info about Ignite. But other than that, I am ready to take you to the Office Resources tab. Before I click on it, I'm just going to hover my mouse because I think that within this drop-down menu, there's some information just much easier to access this way than if I were to go in the page. So Office Resources, the first item on that drop-down menu is advertising guidelines. So as you are creating your business cards, as you're creating your signage, as you're creating digital marketing pieces or Facebook posts, things like that, there are going to be some guidelines to make sure that you are, again, in compliance as a provisional broker, especially. So I always encourage you go and reference that, especially if you're unsure of what something should or should not have on it. That should give you at least some parameters to work with. If you're realizing that it's not quite talking about what you were looking to learn about, you can always reach out to Tasha directly, and then Tasha can give you more information. Or again, that advertising guidelines very well might be the answer to your question. Again, if it comes down to business cards, you will have to get her approval on the design, but at least it will give you some parameters to work with just by referencing that handout. Underneath that is the KW Valentine phone roster. So if you are prepared to reach out to another agent in this office, but you don't have their contact information, this is a live sheet that will document all of our agents, their phone numbers, and their emails. So it's easier for you to reach out to somebody that you may be looking to get in contact with. Another thing that you'll find through here is that you can copy and paste all of those email addresses in one email if you're trying to email blast the whole office. Maybe you've taken a listing firm exclusive and you want people to be aware of it because it's not going to be an MLS, or maybe you want to let everybody know, hey, my sellers are trying to get rid of furniture. They are not taking it with them, but it can't stay in the home. Anybody interested in this pool table, for example? So you can share information like that through email blast. You can also use the Facebook page. But if you have the preference of doing the email, that is the best way to get everybody's information and copy and paste it at once. The next item down is concession request. That's not something I would expect you to need right away. But essentially, as if you were to ever alter your commissions, because Keller Williams Valentine is technically the original payee of your commissions, and then we pay you as the subcontractor. When it comes to anytime you are altering commissions, we need to be aware of that, and the BIC needs to sign off on that. So if you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to be really nice to my home buyers, and I'm going to let their home buyer warranty be on me. I'm gonna take it out of my commission." That's something that we've seen done before, and it's a super generous offer. And you still need Sabre to say okay to that. So by clicking the concession request, it'll prompt you with specific questions that we need in order to draft that letter for you. And then as you respond to all of that, she gets the information, she can draft the letter, send it back to you signed and everything, and then you're good to go. Do not call list. That's one that typically you guys know about from school. Just making sure, again, you're not contacting the wrong people and putting yourself in harm's way. If you click on that, that will give you step-by-step instructions on how to access that information posted to that list. I always say that that is your second homework assignment. If you have not done that yet, click that button and walk yourself through those steps whenever you have time to, because it's going to save you a lot of hopefully money and heartache in the long run. But now that we've hit those few items at the top, I will click on office resources. The bottom two are just easier to get to inside of the tab than the others. But once we've done that, I'm typing in that same BAMC350 password. And you'll see here that we have a series of forms and checklists available to you on our website. The left-hand side button over here, Get Forms, this will actually take you to a Google Drive folder that has a ton of North Carolina forms specific to Keller Williams Valentine. So click on that left-hand button. You'll be taken to this Google Drive folder. This is not going to be all of your state contracts and forms. I always want to make sure that that's not confusing. A lot of the state contracts and forms will be available to you in DocuSign already. These are going to be specific to our brokerage, talking about, referral agreements, W-9s. We're talking about disclosures about partnerships that we have with title companies. We're talking about different handouts that might be helpful to you. Septic and sewer, firm exclusive. Things of that nature live in this folder. So this is all North Carolina specific forms. If you get your South Carolina license, you'll find the exact same forms for South Carolina on the right-hand side of our page. But this is a good place to start to find a lot of good information. I always say, if you start in this Google Drive folder and you're missing something, go to DocuSign. If you're in DocuSign and you're missing something, come to this Google Drive folder, because usually between the two, you'll have access to everything you need. We also, I'm going to take us out of that folder there, have a middle button here that says Get Checklist. If you select Get Checklist, it's going to take you to a second folder, but this one details checklists for all of your responsibilities, no matter North or South Carolina buy or sell side. If you click on it, it will walk you through every single thing that you must be responsible for as the agent in that transaction representing that side. If there is a timetable associated with that action, and then you can sit there and physically check it off to make sure that you've gotten it done. So we know those first few transactions certainly are not muscle memory, and that's okay. We want you guys still to have the utmost confidence going into those deals. So this is something that you can absolutely lean into if you feel that it would be helpful to you to make sure all your ducks are in a row before you close that transaction out. So know that these are here. Sabre is always updating them as changes are done to the forms or just as the years go by. So you should be able to find exactly what you're looking for in here. If not, you can always reach out to Tasha or Sabre. All righty. A little bit further, there is access to the CE Shop website. If you clicked on Find Classes, I know this is a little obscure, but we partner with the CE Shop, so you actually can get your real estate education courses at a discount. whether that is post-licensing, pre-licensing, continuing ed. CE Shop, though, is known for self-paced learning, so online, which I know for some of us is like a big win and some of us is a big thumbs down. So it just kind of depends on your personal preference. If that is something that you have interest in exploring, but you've not quite yet done it, they offer a free trial that's unique to CE Shop. You can do it for 1 week for free. Test it out. If you love it, put in your credit card info and keep going. If you hated it, you can walk away with no consequence. So that is something that I like to point out. They also are, unlike Superior, they're not just North Carolina, they go all across. So you have lots of different options there as well. And then as we scroll through, you'll see that they have tons of different packages available to you. And because of our partnership, there's always different discounts running. So if you are looking to get anything done and self-paced is something you're interested in, they fluctuate their discounts at CE Shop. So sometimes it's going to be 20% off. Sometimes it might be as high as 50% off. If this is something at all appealing to you and you have intentions of doing your post-licensing or CE at any point soon, next week, or sorry, next week, yeah, next Friday, the 26th, they are going to launch a 50% off discount for CE Shop, just an FYI, just in case that helps at all. I always, when those sales, those flash 1 day sales go live, I post it to our Facebook group, the private one that you're part of. I post it to that group at 8 o'clock the morning it goes live so that you guys can take advantage of that specific code all day long. But yes, next Friday, the 26th, there should be a 50% off sale with the CE Shop. And then we do also have, again, just as we scroll through, lots of other great resources. I also love to point out, and what's at the very bottom, but under this Agent Essentials category, this teeny tiny print, there is a little button that says Hot Topics. If you click on that, it should take you to a little library here of ebooks, blogs, podcast videos, tons of content specifically real estate related. I share this for two reasons. One, you of course can glean information from these articles and books and podcasts. You can find good information for you to stay ahead of the market as the leading expert. The other reason I share this with you guys, and I don't know if it's true for you, but I know social media marketing is incredibly popular. I know we talked a little bit about Facebook pages too. So if you have intentions of having a presence and using social media marketing as a heavy piece of your business, I encourage you guys to use this and lean into it because I don't know, as I told you, I don't know everything about marketing, but I do know two things. I know you want to post regularly from your page. If it's not every day, it's every other day or every few days, right? And then I also know it's very important that you're diversifying what you're sharing because it's going to direct new traffic to your page. Keep eyes on your stuff. If you keep posting the same thing, the algorithms have gotten so smart that it will kind of silence it and nobody's really going to see it. So this I like to share because this can be your easy button. If you wake up one morning, you're like, oh gosh, I got to do a social media post. I have no idea what I'm going to say though. I don't have anything going on. It's a rainy Tuesday. What do I say? Use this. Go grab a link from here and slap it on your Facebook page. And that's your post for the day. It's helping direct new traffic to your page because it's informative and it's also helping to inform your clients, your future clients. So it can be your easy button. Again, I know it's not always necessary. If you feel like you have this content coming to you naturally, don't worry about this. It is literally, if you're struggling one day, use it to your advantage. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is the CE Shop specifically, but actually under the More tab, you can get to discount codes for real estate education at the bottom. That will take you to accessing our superior discounts, which is always going to be 30% off. They don't fluctuate like CE Shop. It will always be 30% off with them. Yep. So it's going to be under the More tab, all the way at the bottom of that little drop down. It's just the discount codes for real estate education. Perfect. Below on the tab we currently are on, there is the Valentine floor plan. I've never had anyone ask me for that, so I don't think you'll be the first. If you are, that's exciting. But if you need it, it is posted here. We also have numbers to know. So these are numbers that you're not regularly going to be asked for, i.e. our federal tax ID. That's only going to be relevant when you're working referrals. and our firm license for South Carolina. I'm pretty sure you only need that when you are signing up to get your real estate license in South Carolina. So certain numbers that you are not going to need often, but when you do, you might want to have easier access to them. So they're posted right here under the office resources page at the very bottom, just to make it easier to access the information when you might need it. And if you forget where this is located, I am not offended and I will absolutely direct you back to it. Um, Office calendar, obviously, we talked about that. You know, if you click on that, it'll take you where you want to go. But now looking at that more tab, most of the top section is going to be dedicated to tech resources, some of which we've already covered, some of which you can explore in your free time. But as we get a little bit further down, about midway, you'll see that there is going to be a section that says ALC meeting minutes, for example. You miss any ALC meetings, but you want to know what conversations they were having, what they may or may not have voted on behalf of the future of our market center, things of that nature. You can click on ALC meeting minutes. It will document all of the conversations had, and that way you can still be part of the no without having had gone to that meeting. Underneath is a prayer request form. This one is always more of a talking point for me than anything else. And it's just to let you know very sincerely from the moment you start out here, we consider you a member of our family. So if there's ever anything going on with you personally or a loved one, please let us know as much as you feel comfortable sharing, because we would love to do everything in our power to help you through that. Whether that's just saying, hey, how are things, giving you hugs in the hall, or maybe we can even talk about if there's an opportunity for KW Cares, our kind of charitable arm, to step in and do something as well that's impactful. So again, you can fill out the form if you'd like to, but if you do feel comfortable sharing it with us, we would love to know, so that at the very least we could be praying for you and your family, or for anyone that you're close to. KW Perks is below that. Obviously, with independent contracting, insurance is not always guaranteed. Unfortunately, we do not offer it as a brokerage, but if you click on KW Perks, if that's something you're looking to fill the gap of or see if there's additional options, you can click on that option and it will let you search the insurance marketplace at a discount. I can't guarantee what that discount is, but it cannot hurt to look and just see if there's something better for you and your family. Scheduling a conference room, you'll find that again in this drop-down menu. That's probably the easiest way to really get to that part of the page. We also have a section just below that, KWB firm exclusive listings. I mentioned it earlier, but agents sometimes will take listings that they only want to offer to other agents in this office. They don't want to put it into MLS because they want to give you guys like first cracks at it. So if you are looking to see what firm exclusive listings are currently out there for our office, you can click on that. It's a live sheet that will track that information. As Sabra gets submissions documenting a new firm exclusive listing coming soon, she'll put that information in there so that you guys can refer to it. And then same thing, if you take a firm exclusive listing at any point in time, that information would be displayed on that sheet as well, making it much easier for you guys to get in contact with the listing agents. Strategic vendor partners, as promised, if you click on that option there, it will actually take you to a spreadsheet, a live sheet that documents our vendor partners participating in our vendor program. It documents them by industry. So you'll see that those industries are alphabetized to make it a little bit easier. And then we've also gone in and we will tell you every single direct contact we have, what company they're with, what their contact information is. And as you scroll over, there's also a section dedicated to their services and to their websites. So it makes it really easy for you to get a lot of good information, maybe pull some quotes to then share with your clients. So I always encourage you guys, pay attention to this sheet as we're adding vendors. You'll find that information here. And then most importantly as well, if you ever encounter a vendor that you would like to refer to our program, it's really easily done. Whether that is somebody that you're like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, I just met you, or if it's a family friend of yours that you've had for years, maybe somebody that services your own home. Anybody that you feel would be a good fit for the program, they get access to 600 agents. I mean, it's really not a bad gig usually. But if they have interest in the program, it's a simple connection. All you do is put them on an email with PJ Kennedy, and then he will take the reins from there and explain all the details, ins and outs of the program. He'll give them a tour. You don't have to do any of that. You just get to make that connection and be done. And PJ has business cards at the front desk, so it's really easy to get in contact with him as well. I'm going to pop us back over. There's Outfront Magazine, kind of like the CE shop. Again, if you were excited about that little hot topic section we looked at, the pre-done content that you could copy and paste basically. Outfront Magazine does something very similar. They do a monthly publishment where they literally outline a post a day that you could make on social media. They're giving you ideas for every single day of the year. I encourage you guys to take a look at that. I can't ever promise if it's copy and paste worthy or if it's like prompts to kind of get you thinking in the right way and come up with something original. Either way, though, it might be better than where you started. So definitely something to keep in mind if social media is a big part of your plan. Other than that, we talked about it. Discount codes for real estate education. You can access the CE shop through that button there, and you can also get back to our superior codes for discounts as well. You'll see that Superior is shown 3 times. This one is specific to pre-licensing. This one is specific to post, and this one is specific to CE. It will specify that, but I just want to make sure you had that prior context. The other thing is not only is this something, of course, you may take advantage of, but this is something you're welcome to share. If you've got somebody in your life, maybe down the street from you, that's interested in real estate, they want to know how you got into it, how you did it, you can make their day. You can give them a Merry Christmas, give them a discount to pre-licensing, share that code with them, and then they can go about it in an inexpensive way. And then you've really touched them and made an impact in their world. So it can be something that you use, obviously, to expand your network. It can be something you use as a tool if you'd like to build your own profit share, right? You want people to go into your downline, name you as a sponsor. Starting out with building the relationships early is key. So you can share those codes to get a little bit further along with that. And again, it doesn't have to have any selfish intention behind it or any kind of personal gain. It can be purely just to make somebody's day. So anytime you'd like to share that information, you're welcome to. And for anybody that uses it that's outside of KW Ballantyne, there's no obligation for them to join our office. So yep. Mhm. So they both offer continuing education courses. Uh-huh. You can do either or. It just depends on your personal preference. Superior tends to be a live class, whether that's in person or online. CE Shop's going to be self-paced. So that's sometimes, again, people tend to like one and not the other, as I've seen it. So whatever you feel is most appropriate for you, and then anyone you're in conversation with might have a preference. So could be something that you share, or you could provide both, and they can make their own choice. But yes, just some different options to really get to the same result. It's a matter of what's most appropriate for the individual. Um, Other than that, at the top, I know I'll kind of go quickly because I know we've looked at marketing help and tech help buttons before. I know you've already met with Rob, you said, so I know that you know how to use those. Marketing help is very similar. It's just going to be your opportunity to book a session with Jules and Leah in person or online to have specific marketing conversations for your business, coaching, but they're going to help you craft a unique plan for your business based off your interests, your skill set, what you might want to be focusing on. They'll help you out with that. And then if you want to take that plan and run with it on your own, you can do all of that for free. You can implement all those things to your business for free, but you also can leverage the Jules and Leah as well. So at any point in time, if you're like, I hate social media, this is terrible, I don't ever want to do it again, you could also pay them just to do that for you so that you don't have the burden on your end and your time might be better allocated elsewhere anyways. So not something you're required to do with Jules and Leah. It's just an option. So they will grow with you depending on what you're looking for. And then the final thing I point out is the book call time at the front desk button, which this allows you to book one of those call time shifts up front with Miss Sue. So you've seen that there's been different agents sitting up there with her. We have 3 different shifts during the day. Each of those shifts are 3 hours. We've got a 8:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 2:30, and a 2:30 to 5:30. We also look for people who volunteer for call time on weekends where we just divert the phones to you guys. So that way, any incoming calls at any point, whether you're physically here in the office or if you're remote for those weekend shifts, you guys get those leads directly. So there are times that people will call our brokerage saying, hey, I am looking to buy a home. My budget's $1 million. I've been pre-approved. I just don't have an agent. Is there anybody there that could help me? And then if you're the one who takes that call, it's your lead. You can go ahead and take that and run with it. So not only is it a great way for you to get your foot in the door with those opportunities or really getting the ball rolling on the business side of things, but it's also just a great way to get to know the office better, get to know other agents here better. Maybe because they see you showing up at call time, they're going to say, hey, Tim, like, thank you so much for you. I mean, you're here every morning. We love that. Actually, I don't know. Have you held an open house yet? If you're not, if not, I'm going to do one this weekend if you want to shadow me. So it just helps you get in relationship with a lot of people, especially as you do it more often. People will start to recognize you and give you opportunities like that. But again, just a great way to get acclimated to the office. And I know hang out with Miss Sue, which is never a bad time. But that's really the bulk of what KWB Resources has on it. I know we didn't look at everything because there are still pieces that you can dive further into at your convenience. But hopefully that gave you a little bit more of a glimpse as to what's available to you and where to find it. And okay, good. And as always, if you forget any little bit of that, or if you're struggling to find something, I'm not offended. It's still a lot to take in and it takes practice to get used to it. So just let me know and I will gladly show you or direct you back to what you might need to access. But there you go. That's everything I have for you. Good. That's the goal.